Very good, I said. And are you quite sure that you know my name? I ought to know you, he replied, for there is a great deal said about you among my companions. And I remember when I was a child seeing you in company with my cousin Critias. I am glad to find that you remember me, I said, for I shall now be more at home with you and shall be better able to explain the nature of the charm, about which I felt a difficulty before. For charm will do more, Charmides, than only cure the headache. I dare say that you have heard eminent physicians say to a patient who comes to them with bad eyes that they cannot cure his eyes by themselves, but that if his eyes are to be cured, his head must be treated. And then again, they say that to think of curing the head alone and not the rest of the body also is a height of folly, and arguing in this way they apply their methods to the whole body, and try to treat and heal the whole and the part together. Did you ever observe that this is what they say? Yes, he said, and they are right. And you would agree with them? Yes, he said, certainly I should. His approving answers reassured me, and I began by degrees to regain confidence, and the vital heat returned. Such, Charmides, I said, is the nature of the charm, which I learned when serving with the army from one of the physicians of the Thracian king Samolxis, who are said to be so skillful that they can even give immortality. This Thracian told me that in these notions of theirs, which I was just now mentioning, the Greek physicians are quite right as far as they go. But Samolxis, he added, our king, who is also a god, says further that as you ought not to attempt to cure the eyes without the head, or the head without the body, so neither ought you to attempt to cure the body without the soul. And this, he said, is the reason why the cure of many diseases is unknown to the physicians of Hellas, because they are ignorant of the whole, which ought to be studied also, for the part can never be well unless the whole is well. For all good and evil, whether in the body or in human nature, originates, as he declared, in the soul, and overflows thence, as it from the head into the eyes. And therefore, if the head and body are to be well, you must begin by curing the soul. That is the first thing. And the cure, my dear youth, has to be effected by the use of certain charms, and these charms are fair words, and by them temperance is implanted in the soul. And where temperance is, there health is speedily imparted, not only to the head, but to the whole body. And he who taught me the cure and the charm at the same time added a special direction. Let no one, he said, persuade you to cure the head until he has first given you his soul to be cured by the charm. For this, he said, is the great error of our day in the treatment of the human body, that physicians separate the soul from the body. And he added with emphasis, at the same time making me swear his words, let no one, however rich or noble or fair, persuade you to give him the cure without the charm. Now I have sworn, and I must keep my oath, and therefore, if you will allow me to apply the Thracian charm first to your soul, as the stranger directed, I will afterwards proceed to apply the cure to your head. But if not, I do not know what I am to do with you, my dear Charmides. Critias, when he heard this, said, the head it will be an unexpected gain to my young relation, if the pain in his head compels him to improve his mind. And I can tell you, Socrates, that Charmides is not only preeminent in beauty among his equals, but also in that quality which is given by the charm. And this, as you say, is temperance? Yes, I said. Then let me tell you that he is the most temperate of human beings, and for his age, inferior to none in any quality. Yes, I said, Charmides, and indeed I think that you ought to excel others in all good qualities, for if I am not mistaken, there is no one present who could easily point out 2 Athenian houses whose union would be likely to produce a better, nobler scion than the 2 from which you are sprung. There is your father's house, which is descended from Critias, the son of Dropidas, whose family has been commemorated in the panegyrical verses of Anacreon, Solon, and many other poets as famous for beauty and virtue and all other high fortune. And your mother's house is equally distinguished for your maternal uncle. Pyrilampes is reputed never to have found his equal in Persia at the court of the great king, or on the continent of Asia, in all the places to which he went as ambassador for stature and beauty. That whole family is not a whit inferior to the other. Having such ancestors, you ought to be first in all things, and sweet son of Glaucon, your outward form... And, sweet son of Glaucon, your outward form is no dishonor to any of them. If to beauty you add temperance, and if in other respects you are what Critias declares you to be, then, dear Charmides, blessed art thou in being the son of thy mother. And here lies the point, for if, as he declares, you have this gift of temperance already and are temperate enough, in that case you have no need of any charms, whether of Salmoxis or of Abaris the Hyperborean, and I may as well let you have the cure of the head at once. But if you have not yet acquired this quality, I must use the charm before I give you the medicine. Please therefore to inform me whether you admit the truth of what Critias has been saying. Have you or have you not this quality of temperance? Charmides blushed, and the blush heightened his beauty, for modesty is becoming in you. He then said very ingenuously that he really could not at once answer either yes or no to the question which I had asked. For, said he, if I affirm that I am not temperate, that would be a strange thing for me to say of myself, and also I should give the lie to Critias and many others who think that he tells you that I am temperate. But on the other hand, if I say that I am, I shall have to praise myself, which would be ill manners, and therefore I do not know how to answer you. I said to him, that is a natural reply, Charmides, and I think that you and I ought together to inquire whether you have this quality about which I am asking or not, and then you will not be compelled to say what you do not like. Neither shall I be rash practitioner of medicine. Therefore, if you please, I will share the inquiry with you, but I will not press you if you would rather not. There is nothing which I should like better, he said. As far as I am concerned, you may proceed in the way which you think best. I think I said that I had better begin by asking you a question. For if temperance abides in you, you must have an opinion about her. She must give some intimation of her nature and qualities, which may enable you to form a notion of her. Is that true? Is that not true? Yes, he said. That I think is true. You know your native language, I said, and therefore you must be able to tell what you feel about this. Certainly, he said. In order then that I may form a conjecture whether you have temperance abiding in you or not, tell me, I said, what, in your opinion, is